I find it really interesting how strong our conditioning and programming are as people. It could be so pressed on us that without even knowing it, there's a huge divide between who we actually are and who we project out into the world. From the moment we're born, we're put this stamp on our forehead, this religious stamp. You are a Christian person, you are a Muslim person, a Hindu person, and everything that goes along with that. We're going to instill all of these beliefs in you, values that you're supposed to have. And then, of course, you start growing up and you learn to play off of the people who are around you. And let's just say you say something that isn't politically correct, but at the time you're still just trying to find your way. And everybody starts to criticize you, everybody starts to say that you're wrong. And so what you do is you create a mechanism where you haven't actually developed yet, because that's not the point of life that you're in. So what you do instead is you put on a new mask. You put on a new mask that doesn't have that opinion anymore. And now you are accepted by the people around you. They think you're a certain type of way, but you really haven't changed inside yet. And I'm not even talking about anything extreme that we're used to talking about in these terms: racism, sexism, these type of things. It could just be your own personal preference in life. Anything that just doesn't go side by side with the popular opinion of whoever's around you. And after decades of this, our national views, our race views, our gender views, the media, we get conditioned like this for so long that it's easy to not be in tune with who it is that we really are, what it is that we actually desire, what it actually is that brings us peace, who we really like to be around, what really brings us joy. And so, what I believe is that meditation is a practice that can help us bridge that gap between our real self and our perceived self. And what's great about it is it doesn't require action. It's not something that you have to push and strive for and endure and struggle to finally achieve this result. This isn't a movie where you go through this grueling pain just to come out on the other end. With meditation, all you have to do is sit down, be in silence, and just allow. Allow what's inside of you to be unearthed. The emotions, sensations, the thoughts, the memories. And you'll find that there are many things that you probably repressed. And the more that you can embrace everything that you are, the more congruent of a person you can be, the more masks come off of you. It makes me feel like, in general, it's such a simple practice, but you have to wonder why it is that we're so uncomfortable doing it. We need distractions in our life. When you work hard all week and you're telling yourself that you can't wait for the weekend, you can't wait for an opportunity to chill and relax and just kick back. But you end up doing everything but that. You need to run to the mall. You need to watch all of these television shows. You need to go to the movies. You need to scroll on your phone looking for something to buy. You need to go looking for someone who you think could fulfill you in some way, shape, or form. Somebody who you could just hang out with and have friendly interactions, or somebody you could have sex with and find a way to completely disregard the stress or problems that you may be having in your life. And you start to realize you need to distract yourself in any way, shape, or form that prevents you from sitting in silence, that prevents you from just being with yourself, because that can actually be the most uncomfortable feeling for many people. Just being alone and being in solitude and understanding just what's happening within them could be something that many people will choose to avoid because of the discomfort. You don't know what it is that you could be running from until you really get to sit down and analyze it. Through all those external means that I just mentioned, people will also use those as an avenue to find out who they really are. Let me find my hobbies. Let me see what type of people bring me joy. Let me see what type of people I'm attracted to. Let me see what type of entertainment I value. And it does sound cliche, but it's one of those cliches that's really built on truth, which is you don't need to do any of that external searching. If you just sit down and discover what's really happening within you, you're going to unearth many of these answers. I know that I've really experienced that, and I believe that it is an opportunity that's available to any person. So if you want to learn who you are, spend time with yourself. Don't spend your time distracted by other activities. And what you should try to be in practice of is, as you're going through this process of self-discovery and understanding who you really are and what you desire and things that are going on within you, make sure that you're doing these things with a sense of non-judgment, and you're doing these things with a sense of compassion. Because even though we want to paint everything as a perfect picture, especially in today's world, we know that we are imperfect people. And if you've lived long enough, you've probably done some things that are also imperfect. And so as these things come up, don't beat yourself up for feeling a certain type of way or having it unearthed that you've done something many years ago that you stopped thinking about. And then all of a sudden you're sitting down and you're just being in silence and you're just focusing on your breath. And all of a sudden your mind reminds you of something that happened in the past. Don't grab onto it. Just let it flow through you and acknowledge its existence. That way we can know who we are, but we're treating ourselves with the same level of respect and compassion that we would anybody else who's close to us. I always find it interesting if one of your loved ones came to you and they were vulnerable and they expressed something that they may have thought and they're working on it, or they're trying to flesh it out to see what something means, or they're telling you about their experience as a person. The first thing you're going to do is look at them through a lens of empathy, look at them through a lens of compassion, and try to understand what it is that got them to that space. You're not going to immediately say, why would you do something like that? That's not right. You're a messed up person. I can't believe you ever felt like that, because we know better, especially when we're dealing with other people. But when we're dealing with ourselves, we can be much harsher. How could I have done that? Am I stupid? People won't accept me. People won't like me. So just practice, which for many people could be difficult, being as kind and caring to yourself as you would be to your parents, your siblings, your children, your closest friends and loved ones. And you'll find that this meditation process can be extremely holistic in not just unearthing who you are, but caring for that person that becomes discovered, and finding a way to move congruently in the world without the masks, without the gaps, and just being who you are with a level of acceptance that brings you peace in how you operate. So that's it for this one. Thought it was one that is an interesting thought process and just peels back a few more layers on the meditative philosophy, and how, when thought about it in practical terms, can be used as a tool to help us just be a better person. If you have opinion on it, I would like to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of them, I'd be grateful if you subscribe to the channel, especially as I'm new to producing this type of content. And I'll talk to you next time.